You know, I'm never usually accused. Wonderful. Hey, all right, welcome everyone. This is ALCOSAN's regularly scheduled board meeting. Today is June 22nd, 2023. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Ms. Prairie, please conduct the roll. Mr. Harry Reedshaw.
Here.
Ms. Teresa Cal Smith. Here. Mr. Paul Klein.
Here.
Mr. Darren Kelly.
Here.
Ms. Emily Kincaid. Dr. Shanna Tharp Gilliam. And Ms. Sylvia Wilson. Here. All right, thank you. Just for everyone's knowledge, we did have an executive session today that's held just prior to this board meeting. We do not take votes at executive session. And from my understanding, no one has signed up for public comment either. All right, thank you so much. All right, we're moving on into the information, and we will start with Ms. Karen Fantoni. She will explain our 2023 operating costs and revenues as compared to the budget. You can see this on Exhibit A. Ms. Fantoni.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm pleased to report that we are 41.7% of the way through the year. This information is as of the end of May. As of the end of May, we had spent approximately 38.6% of our operating budget expenditures and collected 43.2% of our current revenues. The leading revenue factor is interest, and we are way ahead in interest as we were a year ago. So I'm pleased to report that we continue to operate in financial soundness, and we're doing well.
Always good to hear.
Any questions?
Not hearing any. Mr. Clown, did you have a question?
No.
You just kind of like what you said. Okay. All right, thank you so much. All right, item C is the WWTP expansion cost report as per attached Exhibit B, and Ms. Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we, as you can,
we'll continue to make progress on the plant expansion. Up to the value of work completed thus far of $176 million. And I will point to the RAS, the return activated sludge project at 96% complete, and also the electrical distribution system upgrade at 94% complete. Those projects are expected to finish up this year, just in time for us to really get going on the CSO bypass and disinfection. That's all I have, but if you had any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Not hearing any questions, just glad to see the progress move. All right, item D is the environmental compliance facility topping out ceremony. Ms. Kenny Slater Wood.
thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Derek. June 2nd, 2023 was a significant milestone for ALCOSAN. This was our topping out ceremony of our environmental compliance facility. Currently, our environmental lab and our industrial waste buildings are housed in two different locations. As a component to our clean water plan and to facilitate plan expansion, both of these buildings will be demolished, and that footprint will be repurposed to accommodate additional treatment capacity. And with that, that will allow for our environmental lab and our industrial waste and residual waste departments to be housed under one building. And this will not only improve workflow for our for our environmental compliance director, Michelle Buys, and her team, but it will also improve and enhance communication in a state-of-the-art facility. And it's very important to note that the design and the details of this building was a collaboration between engineering and environmental compliance. It is customary to celebrate a construction project with a topping out ceremony, which is a celebration of the last beam that has been signed by stakeholders. Placed on the beam is an evergreen tree for good luck for the future occupants. Also a broom, which represents a clean sweep of the project without loss of life. And the American flag, which represents our country and our future. We want to thank our chair, Sylvia Wilson, for participating, along with board member Paul Klein, for sharing in this momentous occasion with us. And I'm very excited now to share highlights from that momentous occasion.
Just that we are here seeing today and celebrating today is very much a local job.
Now, to give the background of why we're here today, right now is where we are raising this last steel beam. It's a milestone that is indicating the completion of the building's frame. It's an opportunity to identify and acknowledge the groundwork that's already been established for the project, but also to look forward to the next step.
Communication will be enhanced, better work environment. That's what we big house. So that is building for us to have to support the police station.
Thank you. And finally, I share with you a rendering of our environmental compliance facility, which is projected to be completed in 2024. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
If there are any questions, we'll take it in. And I just want to mention also for our board members, there is a memento of our topping out ceremony within your board packet.
We talking about this one? Okay, we received it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right, we'll move on to item E, reports of actions by executive director in approving construction change orders, which we see on Exhibit C. We'll have Ms. Michelle Buys to explain this and Ms. Williams' absence today.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This change order involves additional electrical components for the elevators in that building that we just saw. Last month, there were similar changes to the order for the initial disconnect. Any questions?
Not hearing any. All right, we'll just move right on along and we'll continue. This is the actions where the change orders are less than 30,000.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Of the next 4 change orders, 3 of those were credits and the 4th is a nominal amount of change. Item F1, a change order and a credit for the unforeseen utilities, which were accommodated by realigning the duct bank work for the excavation work in that area. Item F2 is the one of these portions that has a nominal change order. The fluidized bedding has temperatures in the range of 1400 to 1600 degrees Fahrenheit. The replacement of these fire bricks is needed to provide additional shielding from overheating to the existing riser. Questions on that item? Item F3, this change order is another credit. And this is a credit and a final for the reconciliation of the final quantities for the additional river crossings and additional outfall pipes that were inspected. Some of these are to support the final design of the Allegheny River Tunnel near Surface Package 6, and this is just for balancing out that contract. And the last one is another change order. I'm getting a good reputation here. It's also good for a credit. I think Arletta set me up for success. And this is again a final one for the reconciliation of quantities, and there's one additional drop shaft at 831. It was expected for sonar during the course of this work. Was due to the inability to complete the drawdown. And this is again balancing out the quantities, which yields a credit.
Any questions? So we'll just move right on into the action items. We'll approve the minutes. We'd like to have a motion to approve the minutes of the.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Darryl, we heard you. All right,
Guys are too fast for me today. I'm trying. I'm on like a 10-second delay from the turnpike. I'm trying.
okay. Item is approved. Item B is consider authorizing payments of the invoices that are in excess of 20,100 from the May 9th to June 12th. This is Exhibit E. Ms. Fox.
This information you received in your preliminary packet and has not changed, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Right, hearing none, but I have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And right, it is approved. Item C, motion to award the following contracts. The first one, number one, contract 1783 site demolition contract to Mealy and Sons Incorporated. This corresponds with Exhibit F. Ms. Biles.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This contract was authorized in January of 2023. And given that we have worked successfully with this contractor before, and the bid was within the engineer's estimate, we recommend awarding to Mealy.
And that we also should acknowledge that the low bidder was withdrawn. Okay, thank you so much. Motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Second.
Aye. Darren, what did you say?
Aye.
Oh, thank you so much. Motion carried. All right, item 2, contract 1789, the Aspen Wall Sewer line replacement. Corresponds with Exhibit G. We're going to, this apparently is being awarded to a hearing company with guys.
We received 4 bids on this project, and all the bids were close to the engineer's estimate. 2 were above and 2 were below. A bid review was completed by Sands Regional Conveyance Engineers, and I'm going to ask the director of Regional Conveyance, Mike Richard, to provide additional information.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle, Madam Chair. This is the sewer line replacement alongside the city of Pittsburgh water treatment plant facility in Aspen Wall. This is approximately 1,700 feet at 20-inch diameter cast iron pipe that's badly corroded and initiating upstream manhole. Like Michelle said, we received 4 bids.
Second.
You made the motion.
Oh. No, I was being very quiet.
I'm asking for motion to approve. So Paul was doing that, but I have a second. Please. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion. Item D, motion to approve the following change orders that exceed $30,000 in value. This corresponds with Exhibit H. Ms. Buys, you want to talk about both of them?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The two change orders here are both associated with the return activated sludge contract. The first is the general, and the second is the electrical. And the Director of Engineering and Construction, Kim Kennedy, is going to give us some more information.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. So, as I said, when I went over the cost report for the plan expansion, this project is about 95% complete, but we have run into some issues that the board has heard about before. So the return activated sludge pump stations are internal to our plant. We've got two that are located on the east side, E1 and E2, and two that are located on the west side, W1 and W2. And because the plant will be treating more flow, we had to upgrade the pumps and the diameter of the piping that returns those flows back to the aeration tanks. So notice to proceed. We started this project way back in August of 2020. Now, in early 2022, we identified that there was the superstructures of each of the 4 pump stations were not built according to the drawings. Nothing that we would have been able to tell during the design phase. We had to actually start to cut open those openings for the new doors to realize that the boards were installed horizontally as opposed to vertically, and we weren't comfortable with the structural stability of the superstructures. So last September, we came to the board and asked for a change order for E1 and E2. And that work has progressed very nicely. So after that board approval in September of that change order, the contractor demolished the superstructure and the pumps. Remember, the pump station is in the tunnel. So what you're seeing there is this building houses the electrical equipment and allows access into the tunnel to look at the pumps. So they took them completely down to grade and then started the rebuild, the structurally appropriate rebuild of the pump station. And this is the way the one on the east side looks today. So the reason why we can't do it the same way on the west side is because we didn't know that that building was built incorrectly until after the pumps and all the electrical equipment were already installed. So we had to come up with a way to rebuild the superstructure and protect the equipment that we just put in there. So there was an alternative A that would have put the pumps back into bypass pumping and would have been about $1 million more than the solution that we put forth. The engineers, contractor, and our construction management team worked together with us to put forth alternative B to rebuild the superstructures while the pumps are in operation. Like I said, about $1 million in savings. So we're definitely going to go for your consideration tonight, the 2 change orders, one for the electrical contractor, one for the general contractor to move forward with alternative B. There is a risk of damage to the new equipment because we are going to build around the existing equipment, but we are going to put in some beams to mitigate that risk, and we've certainly thought through that pretty carefully. So the change order for the general is like about 1.1 million, and then the change order for the electrical is just under $100,000. And this will be the superstructures on the west side. The only thing is they'll be about 2 feet taller than the east side because those will be able to be built before we put the pumps in, but there's no need for bypass pumping or equipment disassembly. So we certainly recommend this approach.
Thank you so much. Now we need to vote on these separately. So we have a motion for B1, please.
Motion approved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. No, I didn't hear Darren that we had enough votes. And now could I have a motion for number D2, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we'll move on to item E, motion to approve the following service authorizations for professional consultants. These items were considered in the professional services committee. We're looking at item E, F, G, and H were considered during that meeting. E1 is for Brown and Caldwell under the agreement for engineering consultant services for the wet weather pump station, not to exceed $9,283,886. Ms. Buys?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, I'm gonna pivot this to Director of Engineering and Construction, Kim Kennedy.
Thank you. So we did award the design of the wet weather pump station to Brown and Caldwell back at the April board meeting. Right after that, we opened the cost proposals and we've been negotiating with the team pretty carefully. It's a really, really, really important project. This is a downstream pump station that will connect to the Ohio River Tunnel and ultimately the rest of the tunnel systems. It's going to be the lowest point in Allegheny County and probably a highlight of future mentors for eternity. So we're looking forward to moving into the design phase, and we certainly recommend it.
Thank you.
Motion.
I shouldn't even have to
Motion
ask. I'm just saying. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I think we lost Dan. All right, item F, motion to modify the service authorization 319 for Michael Baker, in the amount of $30,619,564 to continue their work on the construction management services, the wet weather plant expansion for an additional 5 years. Ms. Vice.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a service authorization for that continued work. And if you recall from last month's board meeting, Ken gave an extensive overview of this extended contract. This is the reason for it. And again, to provide additional information for this.
Yeah, so these next 5 years are critical. We are starting the CSO bypass. We have all of our projects going on, and as you know, we have 4 primes for every 1 project that we're doing. So it's really critical that our CM, we have consistency and that they're able to everything that we need to do here. So we certainly recommend award and look forward to continuing this relationship.
Motion to approve. Second.
Second.
All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is approved. Item G is a motion to award the gate replacement project to GAI Consultants and authorize executive director to negotiate a fee. Ms.
This gate replacement for our regional conveyance system, as with Mike, we'll share with us our system and part of just so that.
Thank you, Michelle. Madam Chair, yes, Michelle stated it's a gate replacement project. Our interceptor system contains a variety of gates and valves. These gates perform a variety of functions, including keeping water out to routine maintenance, moving flow between the interceptors. We have a number of sawmill runs that are inoperable and are not moving. We also have a number of flat gates that are letting in water. We need to replace a number of stop logs that are routine maintenance when things get stuck in flat gates. Stop logs are corroded and failing. In this procurement, there's approximately 70 valves and gates in this design. We are asking the consultant to investigate the gates and put together a design package for new gates and valves. Our procurement team evaluated firms based on approach, experience, management team loading, and MBE, DB, SDV participation. Based upon that evaluation, the recommendation was to move forward with GAI Consultants.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion to approve, please.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. He's not quiet.
Trying to unmute him, so we have some back.
Yeah,
Well,
because it
you'll-
was a noise, right?
Darren, can you unmute yourself from your car?
I'm good now. Yeah, it keeps going, mute keeps going off and on. I don't know what's going on. It's probably telling me I talk too much. I apologize.
Well, Darren, we just got a vote on this last item. Could we hear what you have to say? Yea or nay, Darren?
I
On
beg your
item
pardon?
G? On item G, we need your vote. Aye, aye or nay.
Aye, I'm sorry. Aye.
Thank you so much. I don't want to exclude you, you know.
I thought all we had
I
to do.
appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, item H. Motion to award professional appraisal services to Ruff Tellis. Did I say that one right?
That looks very good.
Okay. For the valuation of physical assets within the authority's treatment and conveyance. And also for the executive director.
Finance, Karen Fantoni is going to provide some additional information. Thanks, Michelle. The last time we had a full-blown appraisal done here at the plan of the facilities and inside and outside the fence was about 1994. So it's been almost 30 years since we've actually done this work. We need to get this done because we use it not only for insurance purposes, but we also use it for financial reporting. And you know, we've been working years and years on the clean water plan and the plan expansion. And so we're adding all these fixed assets to the plan. And it's really critical that we have a good understanding of what the value of those assets are. We have a good inventory. We do update this every year through work with cooperation with engineering as to things that have been placed in service and things that we've taken out of service. But every so often, it's good to get a nice check and have an independent entity come in here and take a look. We put this out for RFQ. We only had 2 folks that responded to the RFQ. So we went back to the RFP for both of those firms. They both provided a proposal. We evaluated the proposals and we felt both firms were qualified firms, but the recommendation was to go with Trefz Boardroom.
Thank you. If no questions, the motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item I is a motion to modify the grant agreements for the green revitalization of our waterways program, which is we know easier as the GROW program. This corresponds with Exhibit I, and this item was discussed in the green program, our committee. Yes, it's our green committee. Okay. Ms. Buys.
This motion is more of a housekeeping item, and the municipalities can request these extensions as part of their road agreements, and we're asking you today
And I think well worth it because they're removing millions of gallons away from our rivers, from our systems. Motion to approve, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. All right, we'll move on now to item J, a motion to adopt resolution number 2023-0601, authorizing payment in the amount not to exceed $280,000 to purchase a block and lot number 9B24A in the city of Pittsburgh's 23rd Ward, now formerly owned by Gia Manuel and Aaron Spies.
Items J, K, and L are all motions to adopt resolutions in relation to the property acquisitions. These property acquisitions are consent decree progress. Our clean water plan. So they'll individually be voted on, but they're all free for that purpose.
Motion, please.
Second.
We'll take it as my motion. All approved, all in favor?
Aye.
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 That's okay, Paul, that's okay. We will get it together. Item K, again, for the same purpose. It's resolution 2023-0602. for an amount of $255,100 for the purchase of block and lot numbers 9B28, 9B29, 24P 187, City of Pittsburgh, 23rd Ward, now firmly owned by James Klein. A motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Second,
All in favor?
aye,
Approved. Item L is a motion to adopt resolution number 2023-0603, authorizing the payment of just compensation in the amount of $1,626,100 in relation to ALCOSAN's condemnation of block and lot numbers 24P 190, 24P 192, 24P 193, and 9B30 in the City of Pittsburgh, 23rd Ward, now formerly owned by Holmes Family Limited Partnership. I'll accept the motion for.
Motion approved.
All in favor? Aye.
second, aye,
Aye. That is approved. Item M, motion to adopt resolution 2023-0604, authorizing the executive director to sign a certain settlement agreement to be entered into with the Borough of the Keys Rocks. Ms. Mize.
This item is a legal matter. For agreement.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. That has been approved. Do we have any new business? No, we don't. No, everybody's looking at me. No, we don't.
Motion to adjourn.
Fast. All right, having no new business, our next meeting is, look at that, already close, July 27th, July 27th. All those in favor, adjourn?